Why? Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see everybody up close. Good evening. We should just sing some. As a right, the roll call should have been fairly easy this time. Time for open forum. If we have anyone who would like to share thoughts with the board, now would be the time. So, Jason, I'm assuming that everybody. Yes, sir.
Still, getting school started and start school fees and supplies and stuff. We did make delivery on 2 new school buses in September. Still $245,000 on there.
Those are 2 new.
And they're gasoline. So, both gasoline. Right. Yeah. So, as we talk about those in the future. Long trips, diesel's good. Shorter.
One.
Well, we're just looking at the future.
Not, travel type bus.
Yeah,
You're gonna just, mostly on speed, keeping up with gasoline, load it down, have a little bit.
even the longer routes we felt okay with
Yeah.
running diesel.
Routes, we're good with gasoline.
Or diesel more expensive?
Diesel more expensive up front.
Oh, no, I don't think
and
the bus, both, they're more expensive both.
Yes, that's right.
May not have a choice in about 4 or 5 years. Or an alternative.
On page 6, we paid an annual fee for workers' compensation. We use Texas self-insurance at $75.
The price we paid last year would be the same price we pay next year.
So the data, the network cabling, is that anything to do with
Wi-Fi, they're enabling several campuses. We've got cameras going in. They're pretty much busy all the time. We actually have to come up and cable something to our places. Definitely.
Page 7, the Amazon charges. Do a lot of technology, some monitors, some wiring, cabling. We get instructional special ed supplies. It's a pretty mixed bag. There's usually 60 or 70 invoices attached to those Amazon payments. Imagine learning, 25,000. Some digital library fees. I might have seen it had to do with math, maybe.
One-time annual fee.
Yes.
To go fuels, we listed 3 different weeks of fuel costs. Construction, 25,000 as it continues to work on building costs. $16,000, that is several invoices. I saw breast transmission leaks and injectors.
AC.
We did one, the day approved was an emission of 7,000. It's all post emission. One unit of 7,000. OEC.
Athletic supply tends to let us get everything ready for the start of school, so there's things for the volleyball teams, the basketball teams, the football teams, and I even saw some cross-country supplies, and that's $70,000 listed there. It's, everything that we need to get the school year started with athletic programs.
Is there any way that we can, maybe get that broken down a little bit more? Like, I mean, by program, high school and junior high. Thank you.
Church 9, Sam's Club, $10,000. We get most of our copy paper from them, as well as several janitorial supplies as well. Church 12, you can see that charge $130,000. That's our food charges for all of our cafeterias. They raised money, $17,000, they did replace the water heater, I think, what, they ceased.
We did an early childhood. No, we did one at East Elementary. We did one at early childhood.
I know.
Water.
East Elementary wasn't that, we didn't think it was that old, but it, past warranty. Up here, the one here was old. It was in the red brick building, but it was a small one.
So that just out of warranty?
Yep.
That-
Yep.
So we've been in that building 3 years now?
Four.
This is
Five.
this is a fifth year for that.
Oh,
Fifth year.
gosh, 5 years.
4 at the time. Time flies.
Yeah, I agree, it's not.
Not very good. The one next to it had some issues, but we were able to repair it. It had some rusted out parts, but we were able to make it work for a while.
Going over to page 11, Central Appraisal District, they break their budget for operations into four quarterly payments, so $72,000 was 1 quarter for the appraisal district. Last lane, $20,000, that's safety software.
No, it's really the onboarding, assigning all of our kids, their emails, the teachers, their emails, their logins, their security badges, everything is, it's called an onboarding software. We had a crash and burn, we were using something called Hello ID, and it was not functioning right at the first year, so we made a check.
Corbin Landscaping, apparently he was paying the East Intermediate water bill for the last 8 months, so we were reimbursing him for those charges.
I know.
Well, it did actually go off at the very end, didn't it? They cut it off for about a day or so, and before we said, it's getting a little crap. Mr. Hammond, he told me, I said, well, water must be off. And he went out and checked, yeah, it was off, it had a lock on it. So we straightened it out pretty quickly. Yeah, it's nice that they tell us stuff like that. Yeah, he stopped paying whatever that last month is that we're charging.
I'm sorry.
Education services, $40,000, that's a new, contract at Lines.
Line-wise is the filtering, software that we use, that we're required to have. It's a, 3-year. Folks at the service centers say it's, new and improved, so. hope so.
So is this a one-time, or is it once every year?
3 years.
This is good for 3 years.
Shy Government Solutions, that's 16,000, that's, has to do with our servers and some support for,
Backup software, VMware, support, server software.
page 14 has got the supplemental bills listed. City of Abilene, I didn't take off the campus code on that, so that 11,000 is all the campuses, water bills. It's not just one campus, it's everybody. Prices go is 13,000. That's some safety software.
Yeah, it's an alert system, you know, that goes on, it's an app for all of our staff on their phones or their desktops that it's a state initiative, so we're hoping we're gonna get some reimbursement, but we should go online this month, we're open. Tony's got all of our people loaded, so we're gonna do some training and try to get it in there, so.
Towards the bottom, page 14, Taylor Electric, the bill is 104,000 for last month. Balances as of September 30th, for all the accounts was $9,113,000. You'll see I've listed Lone Star Investment Pool there. We started having our tax deposits go to the pool. At the time of this printing, it was at 2.9% for the government funds that we're using. I looked today, it was a little over 3%. So we're going to have our tax funds deposited into there and then pull out as we need it for the revenue report for September is presented on page 17. So at the end of September, the tax line 5711 was pretty low because that was before statements went out. And then as soon as October rolled around, we started receiving deposits for taxes. See, the first payment of 5811, 50 from the state, 2.9 thousand. It's like 20% that they send us in September, so it's kind of a donut. They'll send it for 3 or 4 months and then they'll be so they started the funding to do it.
They calculate when you're gonna be getting your tax dollars, and so they don't send anything. And they have different classes of schools, the more tax money you take in, that differentiates between how much percentage they give you, those months that are non-tax months. So, pretty smart, I think. They do a good job with that.
Yeah. Page 18 has got the expense report for September 30th.
Things are up a little bit, I think, because in the schools, all the buildings with that.
Well, like I said, a lot of those software fees and things are once a year, and so they're paid up front.
And there are a lot of, well, a perfect example of the buses, you know, we won't even take delivery on the buses till after September 1 because that's how we look at a lot of things. We can make September.
Insurance and other software.
Public hearing, Mr. White.
Yes, sir. Each year, we are required by the Texas Education Code to bring before you the district improvement plan. All of our campuses have met and approved their activities and their plan, and from their information, we build the district improvement plan. And Agner will present that to you all tonight, and if we can have
Each year, we present the district improvement plan to you for seeking of approval. As you can see, the document in front of you, right here, it's a large document, 76 pages in length, and Mr. Latt told me to be very thorough and go over each and every page with you. Or we can just go with a summary. I think we'll go with a summary. The plan is divided into two parts. The first part's the comprehensive needs assessment, and then the remainder being the goals, the objectives, and the activities that we have in our plan. They're both interconnected, and you're going to hear a lot of the same things in both the comprehensive needs assessment and in the activities. So if you turn over to page 3, we'll start with the comprehensive needs assessment. It's divided into categories, and there's a summary under each category, and then we show the strengths and the needs of each category. Fortunately, at Wylie ISD, we have a lot more strengths than we do needs. We want to make sure we don't become complacent with our strengths and make sure that we address all the needs. The first one you see on here is demographics. I've made the appropriate changes. You see that I added that we have a new campus in our district. Ricky Bacon's East Intermediate is now on our campus and district improvement plan. Below that, you see our enrollment. We added 318 students this year. Our total enrollment is 5,401 students. So as we all know in this room, we are a fast-growing school district. Below that, you see our ethnic makeup of our student population. You see the percentage of each subgroup. You also see that we have a 20.83% economically disadvantaged group. That does not meet the requirements to get all the federal funds for Title I, but we do have 2 Title I targeted assisted campuses. Over on page 4, probably the highlight of this report is our student achievement summary. For the first time since 2019, we got our accountability ratings, and as you see, our district received an A. We're very proud of that A rating. As I always tell you, our students' success is attributed to a lot of their hard work, of course, their parents' involvement, a great group of outstanding teachers that we have, and then the leadership of the men and women that are sitting in the room here. Collective group who makes us very successful. Along with the district A rating, you also see the individual campus ratings. We received an A at every campus other than Wylie West Intermediate, which we received a B. If you look in here, Wylie Early Childhood and Wylie West Elementary, since they are not testing campuses, they are still tied to the West Intermediate campus. Over on page 5, when we talk about student achievement strengths, we just talked about the A through F accountability, very proud of that. Other things that we're proud of is multiple student awards and honors, community involvement of our students, and student leadership. On page 6, and also on page 6, as far as strengths, how well we do with a well-rounded education. What I listed here is all of the UIL events that we're very, very successful in. Needs, all of our campuses have RTI, MTSS process in place to monitor and develop interventions for the students that do need help. All campuses will use incremental testing to identify student weaknesses and will provide early intervention to address those needs. We want to continue to show one-year growth in both reading and math across all grade levels. And as required by House Bill 4545, we have a need for our students who failed a portion of the STAR assessments, and we provide 30 hours of accelerated instruction for all of those students. Page 7, you see the STAR scores. Those are the exact same scores that we reported to you this last summer. Once again, proud that these are the pass-fail scores is what these are. Approaches grade level is what the state calls it. Page 8, school culture and climate summary. We focus on the development of strong character traits and decision-making. We focus on behavioral expectations in order to provide maximum learning opportunities. Under school culture and climate strengths, you see a long list of activities or programs that we use to provide a large number of programs to positively address school culture. We got character counts, we got watchdogs, student council leadership, we've got mentoring minds, we've got a couple of new ones here. Bark Friday, catching students being respectful, acting responsible, reaching their goals and keeping it kind. That's what Mr. Bacon has implemented on his campus. And Mrs. Christian on her campus, the Acts of Kindness Club has been established at our East Elementary campus. Page 9, maintaining a safe and secure learning environment remains of paramount importance to Wylie ISD. School safety at Wylie ISD is definitely a strength. Kudos to Mr. Besant and all that he does with our safety programs. But safety also comes under the needs because of all the events that took place in Uvalde and the new guidelines that the state's placed on us. You see at the bottom of page 9 several new activities that we're going to add to our plan, and Mr. Besant's going to go over those here in a little bit. Move on to page 10. Staff quality, recruitment, and retention. Wylie ISD maintains 100% highly qualified staff at all times. Wylie ISD currently has 716 staff members, with 396 of those being classroom teachers and an additional 150 instructional aides. New employees are involved in an induction program consisting of new teacher orientation, Texas Teacher Evaluation System, T-TESS, and Teach Resource System training. As far as our strengths, I think when we added Mr. Vaughn to HR, that really helped us out with the recruitment of teachers. He's done an outstanding job. I know we were making faces over here, but you ought to see that man with the principals in the spring interviewing 100+ applicants trying to get quality teachers in our classrooms. We also feel that we have a very strong professional development program, one that we've improved, I think, drastically over the last couple of years. We made some changes this summer. We did surveys with our teachers to see what PD opportunities they wanted, and we tried to meet those needs, and then we provided more opportunities for PD for them. And then we also came to the realization that some of our teachers have busy summers, so we offered all those PD trainings more than once, so they could attend one of those 2 trainings. As far as needs under staff quality, recruitment, and retention, to do everything we can to make sure that we hire fully certified teachers that are highly qualified, and that's getting to be a much more difficult task, but we're doing a pretty good job. Curriculum instruction and assessment. This is our 4th year of using Teach Resource System, and we continue to agree that that was a very good decision. Common vocabulary, common assessments, vertical alignment, scope and sequence, and instructional focus document, which drill down the standards. All that curriculum keeps us all on the same page. And we've got buy-in from our teachers, we've got collaboration of our teachers, and instruction has vastly improved in the last 4 years since we added that. So under strengths, just as I said, teachers working together to develop instructional plans and following Teach Resource System, buying into Teach Resource System. Another thing I think we do a good job of doing is making sure that our struggling students, we have interventions for them. Not only do we have interventions during the school year, we provide some tutorials, we provide summer school. A lot of those things are required by accelerated instruction, but a lot of things that we were doing before House Bill 4545. The struggling kids at the lower grades, we do a great job of providing them math and reading camps for them in the summer if they're struggling and needing some more help. Over on page 12, needs, we need to continue to evaluate our intervention systems. Some principals have talked to me about maybe looking at some different resources that we can use that might better suit our students, so we're looking at that. And continued training and differentiation is needed by all staff, especially the new teachers. 13, family and community involvement. Some of these things are the same programs that we talked about under culture and climate, but I think a huge strength that we have in our school district is community involvement, parent involvement with all of our programs. So that's our strength. Our weakness is I think we need to continue surveying our parents and seeing what they say in their surveys and putting together committees to give us direction. I think our long-term planning committee would be an example of that. And then let's skip on over to page 16, technology. We added Richard Cumby at the secondary level to help us out with technology integration. I think he's been a great addition to our staff, helping us out at the secondary level. I have Google Classroom as a strength. When COVID forced us into virtual instruction, a lot of our teachers got trained in Google Classroom, and that's something that we keep utilizing to this day. So that's one positive that came out of the pandemic, I guess. And wanted to keep you up to date. I think we've made strides in our devices that we use. We have 1,725 iPads, 215 laptops, and we've ordered a large number of Chromebooks. We're up to 1,750 Chromebooks across the district. Technology needs, if we are going to order this technology, we've got to make sure we provide training for our teachers to be able to use it. And we need to continue purchasing Chromebooks and devices to match our student growth. The other pages 19 to 26, are some requirements that the feds put on us this year to make sure that we put information there on our Title I and Title IV. So by placing this in here, we are in compliance with the feds on that request. So in your board packet, your next page should be page 20. If everybody sees this right here, you'll turn to page 20 in the board packet. Yes, sir. So now we're going to use both the board packet and your campus district plan. I can call it campus or district plan. As you see, I've provided you a cheat sheet, a summary of our goals and objectives. We have 5 goals on our district improvement plan. Goal number 1, all students will achieve their full educational potential. And then under goal number 1, under it you find objectives. And I'm going to use objective number 1 as an example. Objective number 1 says students will perform at the 90% level on the Texas Academic Performance Report. That means they're at approaches grade level. That means we expect 90% of our students to pass the state assessments. And then to dig into this plan that you have in front of you, you would go to page 27, the next page. On page 27, you see that goal 1, objective 1. And what you see under there are over 200 activities that we use, that we implemented throughout the year, some of them this year, some of them past years. It's the activities that we use on a daily basis to be able to meet that goal. We do the exact same thing on the other 7 objectives under goal number 1. For example, if you go to objective number 2, Title I students will perform at the 85% level on the Texas Academic Performance Report. You go into this plan, you go to objective number 2, there's not near as many activities under that because it just is suited towards the Title I students, but you'll see all of the activities in this plan that we use on a daily basis to achieve those goals. You go on down the list, I won't go through every one of them. Gifted and talent, we raise the goal to 95% because that clientele students. You look at-risk students, special ed students, ESL students, we may not have as high a goal for them. We dropped it down to 85%. But in this plan that we provided you, you go through there and you find, as I keep saying, the activities that fall under that objective. All of these goals are and have been obtainable, so that's why we're continuing with these goals. Goal number 2, to encourage regular attendance of all students to better enhance the learning environment. We want to increase ADA to the 97th percentile. That's one very obtainable goal that we've reached in past years. Goal 3 on page 21, to have no significant change in the annual student completion rate. Objective 1, the annual student completion rate will be at the 99% or above for all student categories. Once again, an obtainable goal. We had some struggles during the pandemic time, but now that we're back on course, that's an obtainable goal. Goal 4, parents and community personnel shall be full partners in the educational process of the district. The number of parent volunteers at each campus will be increased. That might be a difficult task since we have so much involvement, but that's still a goal of ours. And the parents and community personnel will be informed and active partners in the educational process, and we put a lot of parents on committees throughout the year. Goal 5, Wylie ISD will provide a supportive, safe, and disciplined environment for its students so they may become self-assured, productive adults. Objective 1, various methods, approaches, and programs will be utilized to help students acquire the knowledge, skills, and attitudes for success in school, in the workplace, and in life. Objective 2, promote the improved physical health and well-being of our staff and our students. And the last one, provide effective systems to intervene in social issues that have negative impact on student learning. Turn it on the back of that cheat sheet, what you see are the activities that we added this year. So if you can see at the bottom, we have 635 activities in our district plan. Not all those are still in there because over a period of time, this is a fluid document that we've used for years that we make the annual additions and deletions to. So there's some that's been deleted from this plan, but we're up to 635 activities that have been in there. So we're going to go over the new activities for this year's plan. I've asked Reagan Berry to come up and speak on the first half of the sheet because all those apply to the high school. I will let you know the new courses added, 601 through 611. She already came up and gave you a description about those courses in the spring, but if you have any questions about them, feel free to ask in that. So I'm going to turn it over to Reagan to let her discuss those first ones.
How are y'all? Good. Yeah, we took up a big chunk of the paper here. And all of this I've talked to y'all about at various meetings. So I'll just run through them, and then if y'all have any questions or want to know how they're going or the logic behind them, feel free to ask. We updated our exemption policy to where 9th through 11th graders would be eligible for exemption from semester exams in the fall semester and core classes only. 12th grade will remain eligible both spring and fall for all classes. And then in the spring, 9th through 12th, they're all eligible for all 8 courses. And we also added tardies into that exemption policy as well to qualify for exemption. We started FCCLA, which is a CTE club, student organization, Family Career Community Leaders of America Student Club. We started Taffy Club, Texas Association of Future Educators. We've added several courses, Principles of Construction, Electrical Tech 1, Advanced Floral Design, Fashion Design 2, Dual Credit Statistics, Practicum in Entrepreneurship, Practicum of Graphic Design, Practicum of AV Production, Instructional Practices, Freshman Seminar, and Honors World History. We issued parking permits for all of our students and our staff this year. We are now officially a unified school through a partnership with Special Olympics. We joined Development Abilene's Next U program. We also earned a grant through Region 14 through the Texas Regional Pathways, which allows us to have a senior advisor on campus. We actually have 1.5 senior advisors on campus. We and also the district established a bass fishing club, and then we also established a gymnastics club, which is getting their feet under them right now. You have questions or want updates on any of that?
Much faster.
It's happening. In fact, they asked me to put it in our announcements, and then about 2 weeks later, they asked me to take it out of the announcements because they had so many people. I mean, I feel like they got what they needed from it, but they said they had a lot of interest, and they're going to start going through all of that.
So basically, the same agreement with them that grows, you can use our name.
You're welcome.
You tell me I need to speed up. Is that what you're saying? 618 added a curriculum coordinator at the district level, Holly Cooper. We added her to our staff, and I cannot sing enough praises for Holly. She's been an outstanding addition to our administrative staff, and we utilize her daily. We keep her very, very busy. Bulldog Bridge is used for grades 6 through 8 at both of the junior high campuses. Teaches self and social awareness, empathy, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. 620, some of the campuses have added sensory rooms to be available for our SPED students. Sometimes our students there's too many people in the room, too crowded, too much noise, and they just need a place to go to. And so we let them go to these sensory rooms, and they have objects that they can use to hold and just calm them down. New course was added, 621, interpersonal skills. This is another one that we have at the junior high levels. Actually, we've had this course, we called it Build, but we changed it to interpersonal studies. I think as a CT course to get some funding, so we're all excited about getting funding. So it's not really a new program, just a change in the name, and we have that at the secondary level. 622, Art Walk is held in the spring to display and celebrate students' artwork. We do that different ways. I think some campuses do it at the Grace Museum. Some of them have used the PAC to display artwork, and then some of them at their home campuses. 623, Bark Friday, we've already mentioned earlier, the new plan that they have at the Eastern Intermediate campus. Typing Club, 624. Typing Club is being utilized to prepare students for the online STAR assessment. This was a big need that we talked about last spring. We purchased about 3,500 licenses for our younger students to give them the typing skills to get ready for the online testing. We had a free version of this, but there was too many pop-ups things, so we thought it was important enough to buy the software to be able to provide this for our kiddos. 625, we've also mentioned what's going on over East Elementary. 626, we're piloting a program called Imagine Math. We used it at the 5th grade level years ago. Stopped utilizing it. We had a request to use it again, so we're piloting it at Ricky's campus at the 4th and 5th grade level. The remainder of these activities deal with safety, so I'm going to ask Mr. Besson to come up and speak to you about those.
Some of these we've already also talked about, like Reagan said. Safe and supportive school teams, that's a state requirement. That's each campus specific and made up of administrators, security, counselors, teachers. They're really responsible for climate and culture and really working hard to find those students that might be falling through the cracks. Also, they're trained in behavior threat assessment. Crisis Go app, we talked about that earlier, and that's ready to roll out. Card readers being installed on all exterior doors. We're kind of hoping that those will be coming in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You know, they've been floating around out in the ocean, just like all the other electronics, but we're ready to start on that. Fences, we started in June, and we're still working on fences, and some of those, you know, we did for playground expansion, et cetera, but those areas that we were required, that were secured areas, like at the high school and West Junior High, we have those and been using those since the beginning of school. Weekly door sweep audits, those are another requirement by the state. Once a week, every campus has to do a weekly exterior door audit. It's on an Excel spreadsheet, and we have a district record of that. Our school operations people do those. Single access points, we have our security vestibules at all of our campuses. So we've really worked hard at making sure our unauthorized people find their way to that so we can verify, you know, what they're doing at our campus. Angel Protect, that's our distress system that we're piloting for the state. We've had one test run. We're going to do another one Friday, and they're just getting ready to roll that out to the legislature when that happens. So they've installed about $30,000 worth of cameras free of charge to demonstrate that to the states, a server, et cetera. It's working very well on that. Of course, we always have safety training for all of our staff every year. You know, initial training for new teachers, then every year we revisit that in August, but now we're also training our substitute teachers, and each campus specific has their own we have videos, and we have diagrams, so they're working really hard. They've done a great job. And of course, we added some additional security personnel throughout the district. So, thank you.
That's it. That's a summary of our district improvement plan. Are there any questions?
So I might piggyback off of Mr. Hackler, and several of them have noted. A lot of these things y'all have heard about. We've been working through some of these things. And so every year when we get to the plan is kind of, this is another thing we've talked about. The plan is kind of in place before we start the school year, but to get it into this document, it takes us a while to get these committees together and so forth. So a lot of these things have already happened. Some of them, like Mr. Bess is talking about, some of these security things are about to happen, and so we're in different places with the improvement plan, and this is just a lot of information about what is going on. I always, we talk about this plan, you know, a lot of districts do a much smaller plan, but one of the things that I have shared is that if we don't have something that is a way to communicate to a new administrator, they have no idea about what a lot of these things are, or any of the history behind them. And this is a way to keep them aware of some things that they may not have been aware of as they take on the reins of the new campus.
Thank you.
That's his presentation.
Good job, Mr. Hager.
Now, if we have any, sir?
Good job, Mr. Hager.
Yeah, that was a
Worked hard on
good
that.
job, Mr. Hager. He's
He's been
really hard
working on it
that.
for a while.
It's a team effort, wouldn't you say, Mr. Hager?
It's your program, sir. So yes, sir, it is.
The principal did all that information to us.
So it's time to conduct the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
And we will do that at this time. We have several members of the public sitting on the front row. Many of them like to provide their input or ideas or thoughts, because I'm sure every one of them have fingerprints on this document at some point.
Hey, I'll make a comment. We meet with our committees on our own campuses, and it's a really awesome time to present all of that to parents and community members. Like maybe some things they really don't know that's happening, kind of behind the scenes access that maybe they don't normally get. And I think ours were kind of blown away by it. I mean, I think they were just like, wow. There's all of this. It's not just language arts, math, science, and social studies. It's school safety, and it's accelerated instruction, and it's social emotional learning. I mean, I think they were just kind of blown away at the level of care that their kids get on the campus. It's more than just figuring out how to do a math equation. There's a lot more going on. So I think and y'all may not even know that happens on our campuses. I mean, I know y'all know what happens, but those meetings with the parents there, it's sort of powerful to see them, like their light will go off and go, wow, this is a good place. So anyway.
Each campus has their own little community, right?
Yes.
How many parents are typically on that for y'all?
We had 6 actual parents, but only 4 actually came. 2 of them couldn't make it the last moment, but usually we have about 6. We did.
Yeah, 3 to 6.
Quarterly?
Y'all don't need that much, are you?
A couple times a year.
A couple times.
The first one is the big one.
Ask questions and participate in any of it.
Legislatively, they're only required to have one a year, but, the district one we have, there's about 4. It can vary from 3 to 4. We've got some big items to tackle later on in those committees, like the calendar, and some things that happen in the spring as well, so.
So what Mr. Hager is saying, this is your baby. You got it.
Well,
What I meant by that is he put the computer program together years ago, so I'm dependent on him to get all this printed out.
so when we say team effort, Mr. Hager does a lot of the work, but sometimes you gotta crank that Model T up, just hold your mouth right, go baby. Model T is a vehicle,
All right, guys, how are y'all doing? Our student count this year is about 180 lighter than it's been because we did not get fifth graders this year. Hey, this is the first time in my 23 years of being a school administrator that we didn't get that the building I was in didn't get a new group of kids. We had them all last year. Now, we have 49 brand new to Wylie kids, but we didn't get a new grade level of students. So it was kind of interesting. We didn't have to retrain parents in the parking lot. They know what to do. It's been great. So, but anyway, that's why that number is so low. We talked a little bit about accelerated instruction. I just want to mention House Bill 4545. Our students who failed the STAR, they are getting some accelerated instruction. We did it all last year. We felt like we had a pretty good thing in place. And this year it's morphed into something even better. We are still giving them that accelerated instruction, but the teacher that we have with them, she is making sure that they're getting all their homework done. She's making sure that they don't have missing assignments. She's making sure that their backpacks are organized. Hey, these kids, typically the kids that struggle on the STAR, they also struggle academically, and their grades are better this first 6 weeks. Their grades were awesome, and it's going to make a difference for some kids. So something that maybe we were sort of forced to do has turned into something that's, I think, going to be really, really good. Spanish at Wylie East, this is the first year that we've had 5 sections of Spanish. We have about 120 students taking Spanish 1, 8th graders. This is the most we've ever had. It's the first time we've had an Art 2 section. Those are students who, as 7th graders, took Art 1, and we had so many that wanted Art 2. This is the first time we've had 2 sections of Art 2, so we're really excited about that. We also do an Acts of Kindness Club. Ms. Christian was the creator of that, and now it's at the elementary and it's at the East Junior High. That's a really cool thing that we do. Cross country, Teresa and Duque won 2 of our cross country meets. Cross country is now over, but this is the first time that we've had a cross country champion on the east side. She won 2 of the meets, and she's a pretty special kid on the cross country trail, so you'll probably be hearing her name in the next couple of years. Football, volleyball, tennis are in season right now. We have a big choir concert that's going to happen tomorrow night at the PAC. We also have football going on tomorrow night, and we also have the book fair starting this week, and tomorrow night is parent night, so a lot of things happening tomorrow. We have a pep rally tomorrow. It's 80s Day. I probably may or may not have a mullet on, so... but that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is 80s Day. Just something real quick about our Pure Gold Band and the pep rally, our first pep rally. I say all the time to parents that it doesn't matter if your kid started in kindergarten and have been here all the time, or today is their first day. When they walk through the doors, they're a Wylie East Junior High Bulldog. I say that all the time. An example of that, at our first pep rally, it was on a Tuesday. On Monday, we got a brand new student. On Tuesday, the pep rally was happening, and I was just kind of watching, and I look over in the band, and the brand new kid that we enrolled the day before, he's got his trumpet. Now, he may have been lip syncing the trumpet a little, but he was up there and he was getting it. And it was day 2, and he was already in there. He was already a Wylie East Junior High Bulldog, and I think that speaks volumes for how we treat kids. So that was really exciting. Our fundraiser started on Friday. The kickoff was on Friday, so that will be in full gear over the next couple of weeks. We did have a homecoming dance. First time we've had that since 2019. About 90% of our students came to the dance, so it was pretty cool. I was going to say some things about school safety, but Mr. Besant hit all of that, so I won't. We're going to have a big UIL meet on December 5th. We're hosting that at our campus, grades 6, 7, and 8. We already talked about our school improvement committees. Bulldog Bridge, just real quick about Bulldog Bridge, probably about 7 or 8 years ago during the summer, my assistant principal at the time, we were like, what is one thing that we could do to make our school better? What's one thing, if we put it together this summer, what's one thing? And we talked about a bunch of ideas, and what we came down to was we needed something that would help students be kinder to other students. And this Bulldog Bridge idea, and it's grown and grown and grown and grown over the 8 years. But what we are doing this year, there are 6 times that Bulldog Bridge meets, and on those days, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they have the same topic. They all do different lessons, but the same topic. And this year, our topics, and I think Mr. Hagler said some of these, but in August, it was self-awareness. We did social awareness in September. November will be empathy. January, self-management. February, responsible decision-making. And then in April, the final one will be about relationship skills. And so those are the things that will happen in Bulldog Bridge. We also do something on the East Junior High campus called Each One Reach One, and we want to make sure that every student has an adult that they can count on. And about the third week of school, we put that information, the counselor and our community and schools person, Ms. Bollinger, they went into the classrooms and they talked to the kids about that. About 80% of them on the third week of school said, I know, they wrote it down, here's the adult I know I can count on. Now those other 20% of our kids, we're working on it. So as we go through these next few weeks and months, we would just want to make sure that every kid, if they have something going on at school, they have an adult they can count on that campus. So we call that Each One Reach One. There are some things in front of you real quick. You have a t-shirt, it's our staff shirt. It says Bulldogs Run the East on the front of it. It's a pretty cool shirt. You also have a wristband, and on the wristband it says Not Today, a quick story about Not Today. If you saw Top Gun Maverick, I don't know if y'all saw it, it's a great movie. There's a scene where Tom Cruise is in there with his supervisor, and the supervisor's like ripping him, like he's giving him the business, because you know Maverick, he's a maverick. And he tells him, hey, your kind, they're gonna be extinct one of these days, and you're not gonna matter anymore. And he starts to walk out the door, and then he turns around and he says, maybe so, sir, but not today. And you know, public education, we've been kind of getting pounded the last couple of years. And I just told my staff, hey, I don't know how long public education is gonna matter, but it matters right now. Today it matters. So we're not irrelevant today. So Not Today's kind of been our theme. So you've got a wristband. You can put that, you can wear it. I wear mine. You can put it somewhere just to remember that. Also in front of you are our standards of excellence. I've shared those before, but just so you know, if anybody asks you what is Wylie East Junior High about, that's what we're about, those 21 things in front of you. And then the last thing is a postcard, and I wrote you a note on it. I modeled it for you. We're asking our teachers to send out 5 of these every 6 weeks. You know, it's got the Wylie East Junior High on one side, and then there's a little space called the good stuff. And they're gonna write a postcard. It can go to the kid or the parents, but we're sending them home. We're going old school mail. And I'm envisioning a lot of these on refrigerators. And I'm super excited about that. So the plan is to send out probably 300 or 400 or 500 of these will go home this year. And it's just, you know, if you get a note about your kid, it'll make you smile. So that's what we're hoping to do. All right. That's what we got. Thank you all very much.
I'm gonna go paperless. A lot of things, I say this every time, or he says it, vice versa, but we do a lot of the same stuff at each campus, so I'm not going to go over some of the things he mentioned. We are up on student count. We're growing a lot at Wylie West Junior High. I look back at our numbers from last year, and we're up 93 students from this time last year, so I thought that was a big number. Attendance was actually down a little bit, but I looked at his attendance, and we're about the same, 96%, so I felt a little better about that. 96% is still good, but last year about this time we were about 99, 98%. So he mentioned character counts or Bulldog Bridge. We're currently doing ACU practicum students are going to come on our campus. Mr. Vaughn actually started this a while back with our communities and schools, creating like a bullying prevention program for our 5th and 7th graders on our campus. And actually, ACU practicum students are going to come and help with that this year. So we're working through that with some ACU practicum students. So I put that in there. We have, I think, 4 Wylie High School instructional practice students on our campus that are coming and have Wylie West Junior High mentor students. And so that's a program that Miss Berry just recently started at the high school. I think is really good for our students that are wanting to look at becoming teachers. So we have those on our campus, and I think it's all going really well. I'll skip on down. Class B's coming up, School B, we'll do in December. You all meet, Mr. Goodenough didn't mention, but we're actually hosting. He's going to host grades 6 through 8, and we're going to host grades 2 through 5 in December. Extracurricular, we just had Matilda Junior auditions wrap up, and that'll be a program that we'll put on theater in January. Choir concert as well we have tomorrow. New student party we had back in September. We had 125 new students on our campus. We also did the homecoming dance, and I joke, 240 5th graders, I think 234 of them bought a ticket. So we had a lot of 5th graders, a lot of students. They probably decided to go ahead and come anyways, but it was a really good time. There was a lot of people there, and the exit would tell you that there was traffic everywhere and it was backed up all over the place. So the still working through trying to figure out how to go in and out of Wylie West Junior High in a quick manner is not always the best thing or easiest thing. We just wrapped up our fundraiser. We actually just did our, I think, second pep rally. We did Pink Out pep rally, and we actually have a teacher on our campus that is battling breast cancer. So we did a rally for Read T-shirts, and that was a big success. And then she wants all that money to go towards cancer awareness. So just working through that with her and seeing our support of our students and faculty was a great thing. And then also we're working on a field trip to go to DICE. Our fifth graders are looking at going and touring DICE. And so we're working on that, maybe looking at dates in November. But it looks like that'd be a good partnership with DICE and our students getting to go and check that out. So, any questions? All right.
Sound like you're bored.
Sir?
Doesn't sound like you're bored.
No, sir, we got a lot going on. A lot more than what goes on this little paper.
That's right. As they're talking, I'm jotting down other things. You know, we've been in school, 8 weeks now? And so trying to cram 8 weeks of a secondary campus of all that's going on is hard. But our enrollment is 1,476, and we feel it. Just today, I was talking to someone, they said they have a freshman son, they said, he said it just feels so crowded. And I say bustling. It feels bustling. You know, you walk in the morning in the cafeteria, and all those kiddos in there, and it does. We are quick to open the gates, and it's like a herd walking through there. But it's good. It's great. You can see the vast difference between our 9th graders and our 12th graders. We graduated 263 last year and replaced them with a class of 438. So you can see where the difference is. Our student section is packed, which is awesome. They are a fired up group of kids. I use the word fired up. Sometimes it's wild over there. But it's a lot of fun. They're what makes being a high school principal fun. If they aren't rowdy, you know, you're always walking a line of, this is really fun, until it's not anymore. But they are a fun group. Wylie Tennis are the district champion. If you didn't know, they are ranked number 1 in 5A. They have been for a few weeks, and they remain ranked number 1 in 5A. They'll face Palo Duro this Tuesday, and then in Lubbock, and then I heard they'll be in Midland either Thursday or Friday, and then planning ahead, most likely back in Lubbock the following Tuesday. And so we'll have administrators making those drives, you know, all over the Panhandle in West Texas.
That third round is supposed to be
The doozy.
the doozy.
Yeah.
With Amarillo. So
And it usually is every year.
they're really good.
It is. Lady Bulldog Volleyball, they are into the second round of district play right now. They have the number 2 spot. If they repeat what they did the first round, they should maintain that number 2 spot. They play Abilene Cooper tomorrow night over at Cooper. We have 2 National Merit Scholarship semifinalists that are moving on to the finalist round, Connor Brown and Aiden Gertisser. And then we had 4 that were commended. Those kiddos are competitive. When I told them they were commended, they just looked at me. I was like, no, this is a good thing. Like, we're excited about this. And they said, well, what was the point spread? And so then we have to go through them. Gosh, they are a competitive group, and we love that. We love that. Bulldog football, they got their first district win against Plainview. They have given us a fun season. We haven't always come out on the right side of that fun, but golly, they're fun. And they're a lot of fun to watch. They get us all pretty fired up. Pure Gold Band, I got to go so this report talks about the Concho Classic Marching Contest because they won all these awards. They received first division trophy, completely swept the 5A by winning best woodwinds, brass, percussion, color guard, and overall best 5A band. Out of 32 bands who performed, ranging 1 through 6A, the Pure Gold Band received best percussion and for the second year in a row, the best color guard. Saturday, we had the Big Country Marching Festival, and it was nice to sit in the stands and get to watch them and to see it, and it is just gorgeous. When those gold flags come out, I mean, it gives you chills. I ran into a grandma, and she said she cried. She said, I never thought I'd cry over a band performance. But she did, because it's just so good, and they work so hard. If you drive by the stadium, you can hear there were little, and I'm not a music person, but there were little sections. I was like, I've heard that section 20,000 times that they work on, and it sounded incredible. So we're just really excited about the band. They have a lot of really good, fun things going on. Clubs going on at Wylie High School right now. FCCLA, the Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy, is on its second year. That was a success last year, and they kicked off. They had their launch party this past week. Student to Student has had new student tailgate. I think there was some miscommunication, and they had all these freshmen show up thinking, well, we're new to Wylie High. So there's lots of pizza being given out then. Our chess club is getting competitive. That started last year, and students just kind of coordinated this chess club, and they are serious about it. But they're going to start going to tournaments around Abilene and playing against Abilene schools. Spanish Club, MedLife, Taffy, Student Council, and National Honor Society are all going on as well as FCA. I think Coach Hopper has taken over FCA, and so they'll start meeting here pretty soon, I believe. Coming up at Wylie High School, this week we have the PSAT. In a few more weeks, we have the PACT. Our annual musical will be in the PAC, usually in November. Our Veterans Day brunch and program, we're doing that a little bit different this year, and Mrs. Harrison is working hard on that. We're excited about that. And then FFA competitions are also they'll start traveling all over as well. Happening now, golf is in full swing. There we go. Swimming is competing, and they travel far to find pools to swim in, but they're competing and doing really well. Cross country has districts. That date is wrong. It's actually Thursday in Lubbock at May Simmons Park. Debate is going. UIL Math and Science had a meet this past weekend. We also have a choir concert tomorrow. I'm assuming it's one big choir concert tomorrow night at the PAC. Obviously, football, volleyball, band, tennis. The fall play wrapped up yesterday with their matinee performance, and then basketball kicks off at the end of the month. And we're here. Oh, it tips off. I missed that one. Bummer. It'll be a swoosh, though. All right. Oh, there we go. Other things, our CVA students are all at vet. We have 3 different vet offices that they are interning at. Our CNA students 2 weeks ago started at Windcrest again. That's who we partnered with last year. We have 19 students going over there twice a week. Like Mr. Raymond had said, instructional practices is a new education course, and Ms. Yance has done a good job of pairing those students up at different campuses. We had over 100 students go to WOW, which is World of Work, which is put on by Workforce Solutions, and we usually take about 20 students there, and I think that was really neat. And then Ms. Alcorn has done a great job of hooking our CTE students up with different industry partners. And so I know last week they went to Cisco and saw RAM, what all they do there. And they've gone to Tyga Boats, and they're just doing a lot. Other things at Wylie High School, as you're aware, we lost our counselor, Mrs. Swanner. And to watch this district come together was incredible. The meeting, everyone in one room, we're grieving a loss, but it was the last week of the 6 weeks. And we had eligibility reports to do, and we had closeouts to do. And so to pull counselors from different campuses, I'm grateful for these principals for letting us steal them for days at a time. And everybody has been so gracious in attempting to fill that role. And then even pulling women out of retirement. Ms. Huckabee has come up and helped. Ms. Daniel and then Ms. Sandifer have also been so kind to offer their wisdom and even their time, and I think they're going to continue to do that. And so as a district, that's what we do. We rally, we come together, and that's been really incredible to watch. Not surprising at all, but it's been really incredible to watch. We will feed our teachers. Actually, my mom has been preparing homemade lasagnas for weeks, and so we're feeding our teachers next week, but we've done other fun things with our teachers as well. Overall, I think the first 8 weeks of Wylie High School have been great. It feels like a really fun atmosphere. It's obviously a very safe atmosphere, and there's a lot of good learning and good things going on. That's it.
So when you feed teachers, your mom is covered with lasagna?
Yeah, I mean, you're never told to call your mom and ask her to cook for you. No, he'll eat if he, oh yeah. It's his retirement gig. No. Yes. Yeah. Mama will cook, still. Anything else? All right. Oh, thank you.
We didn't teach that class when we were history teacher. Can't understand the color too.
It is amazing all. That unless you're in the classroom or on the campus, you never see it. And I know that. It's how I went to school, but you just fight, well, you don't get all this. So, y'all are making great.
And I would, those things are going on, but, Mr. Bassett reminded, we got soccer going on in our fields, we got, incredible, we got starting our own little dribblers league this year. I mean, there's a lot of good things happening that, it is great.
Well, let's talk bilingual and ESL, Mr. Wylie.
See, Senor.
Actually, we're only going to talk about ESL instruction program because we don't meet the requirements for bilingual education. We teach emergent bilinguals in our ESL program. That's English as a second language. Ever-changing acronyms, emergent bilinguals, EBs as I'll refer to them in the rest of this report. They were called ESL students at one time. Just a few years ago, they were ELLs, English language learners, and last year they were ELs, English learners, and now they're emergent bilingual, so I'll give you another acronym next year when I see you. All these acronyms, they're all the same kids. They're students where English isn't the primary language spoken in the household. There's two models. Wylie pre-K through 1 campus uses the self-contained, and Wylie second grade through 12th grade uses the pull-out, which is actually a pull-out push-in instruction. In the self-contained content-based instruction for our emergent bilingual students, instruction will be provided by a teacher certified in ESL. Our teachers teach using the English language and academic content. Our teachers use visual aids, gestures, vocabulary support, cooperative learning, learning stations, and simplified vocabulary when working with our EB students. And then 2nd through 12th with the pull-out push-in, it's instruction for emergent bilingual students. Students remain in a mainstream classroom arrangement. Instruction will be provided by a teacher certified in ESL. The main difference between these two models is once you get to the second grade level at Wylie ISD, we start having duos, we start having trios. Once you get to secondary level, you have 8 different teachers. Only the reading language arts teacher has to be certified in the push-in, pull-out instruction. So we do the best we can to get all those teachers certified to provide that instruction. The chart in the middle is an example of those two models that I just talked about. I can't say enough about our teachers, how they meet the needs of our emergent bilingual students. We have 139 emergent bilinguals in our district. That's a pretty big increase from last year. We went up about 22% since 2021. We have 96 teachers that are certified in ESL. Of those 96 teachers, 49 are actually instructing emerging bilingual students. Unfortunately, we have 6 students that are in classrooms where we do not have a certified teacher. I can't tell you the difficulties of having late hires, emerging bilingual also being in a special ed class, the difficulties of getting every single teacher certified to teach these kids. It seems like every year we have to apply for a waiver. We'll have to apply for one again this year. The state, hopefully, I feel confident they will approve that. I mean, think about it. In the state of Texas, it's hard enough just to get certified teachers, much less certified teachers who are also certified in ESL, but we're doing the best job we can on that. So we only have 6 students right now that's in that boat. On the next page, we identify those students we administer the IDA language proficiency test, online test, and the LPAC determines if the student qualifies for the ESL program. The LPAC is the Language Proficiency Assessment Committee, and that's headed up by our counselors, and that committee is always doing what's in the best interest of these emergent bilinguals. Ensuring meaningful communication with the limited English proficient parents. We use meaningful communication with our parents in a language that they can understand such as through translated materials or language interpreter, and to provide information about how any program, service, or activity that is called to the attention of a non-LEP parent. Each year, we hold a parent night where EB parents and students can attend to receive information about our school programs and opportunities. That's something that we've really stressed the last few years, and we've got a lot of buy-in. We host these parent nights, and a lot of these parents will show up and ask a lot of questions. I think Mrs. Besson, I got to give her kudos. Usually hers is the campus that we've been hosting that at the lower grade, so thank you very much for that. Providing language assistance to emergent bilingual students. Our school uses content-based sheltered instruction for our EB students. Our teachers teach using the English language and academic content. Our teachers use visual aids, gestures, vocabulary support, cooperative learning, learning stations, and simplified vocabulary when working with EB students. They also use Google Classroom to help communicate with parents, which has a translation feature that has been very helpful for our ESL students. The Google Classroom has been an opportunity for these parents to communicate with them. We've also been using Rosetta Stone, correct, on a couple of campuses, and we've also just recently purchased a Lexia program that's supposed to help us out with our emerging bilinguals. We've only purchased it in the last 3 weeks, so we don't have any feedback on how well that's working, but we really rely on the consultant out at Region 14 to help us out. She'll come observe classes and give us direction and stuff.
What do you do when the parents don't have access to technology and stuff now?
We'll provide it for them. We have not rented that, but we do that with any time that there's a situation with that lack of technology. We'll check it out to them. Staffing and supporting the emergent bilingual program, I've already mentioned that earlier. We were pretty good except for the 6 we have to apply for the waiver. Providing meaningful access to all curricular and extracurricular programs. All EB students are placed in a general education classroom with their peers. They have access to the same curriculum as their peers. Our teachers use appropriate instructional materials for our EB students. EB students have access to their grade level curriculum so they can meet promotion requirements just like their peers. EB students have an equal opportunity to participate in all programs. We want equity for these students. I can summarize the next one, evaluating EL students in special education, providing dual services, pretty much meet both ESL and SPED requirements and provide both services for the identified students. On the last page, meeting the needs of students who opt out of emergent bilingual programs or particular services. All EB students are entitled to services. Parents may, however, choose to opt their children out of an ESL program, and unfortunately, we do have parents that do this on an annual basis. We do not recommend that parents opt out for any reasons. Parents are entitled to guidance in a language that they can understand about their child's rights. The range of EB service that their child can receive and the benefits of such services. We appropriately document that the parent made a voluntary, informed decision to opt their child out. We take the steps to provide opted-out EB students with access to its educational programs, ELPS, which is the English Language Proficiency Standards, monitor their progress through TELPAS, which is the Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment, and offer EB services again if the student is struggling. Monitoring and exiting emergent bilingual students from programs and services. Wylie monitors the progress of all EB students to ensure they achieve English language proficiency, of course that's the goal, and acquire content knowledge within a reasonable period. Wylie ISD annually administers the TELPAS, once again, Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment, to all EB students. This is administered by the counselors. This assessment monitors reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. An EB student is not exited from an ESL program services or status until he or she meets reclassification criteria, including the subjective teacher rubric. Monitoring after reclassification. Wylie monitors the academic progress of former EB students for at least 2 years to ensure that students have not been prematurely exited and they are meaningfully participating in the district's educational programs comparable to their peers who were never EB students. In summary, EB's programs are reasonably calculated to enable EB students to attain English proficiency, once again, that's the goal of this whole program, and meaningful participation in the standard educational program comparable to their peers. It's a joint effort between parents, teachers, and counselors to make sure that these students are successful. Any questions about our emergent bilingual program? We have 139. 22% increase from last year. Yes, sir. We've increased the last 2 years substantially. We have that question asked almost annually. Yes, we do, and I'm going to let the principal speak. I think we counted up one year, we had about almost 20 different languages. Name some of them. Yeah, Ricky, we've been contacting our consultant to help us out with an Italian
We have
student.
a student from Cambodia.
Yeah.
What's the language? I can't remember. I was gonna say Cambodia, but that's not the language, like Tampong or Tapong or something.
We have a number of different languages. I told you at the beginning of this that we don't meet the requirements of bilingual education. If you have 20 students or more in a grade level, and now at a campus, since we've gone east and west, that speaks one language, you have to provide a bilingual teacher in that language, which would most probably be Spanish. But we're not even close on that. Now, we are getting a lot more of the students, but we're still not close to that number. Me and Mr. Light had this conversation the other day. At what point in time, what do we need to do? Do we need to look at some more resources? Do we need to start getting more help from Region 14? Because it seems like we're getting more and more students, and we do not have a bilingual teacher. But that bilingual teacher, according to these requirements, would only help, in our case, would probably be Spanish. I don't know if they can help us with those other languages.
Investment policy, yes, sir, each year we're required to review our investment policy, not that it's changed since I can't ever remember it changing, because it came, the policy that comes to us through ISD, TASB. Carol, do you have any comments or?
No, there are a lot of things in policy that we are allowed to do that we do not. Safety and security of our buses is the primary focus. We want to stay where we're comfortable and we know what we're doing.
So, where we are. No, we're very.
Yes, sir.
Any questions about that? Okay. I guess we're gonna move to executive session.
Yes, sir. Thank you all, appreciate you.